Hello there, and welcome to today's episode of the Easy EdTech Podcast. My name is Monica Burns, and I am so glad that you're here to join me today. If you want to make the most of education technology, aka EdTech, well, you are in the right place. My goal has always been to help make EdTech easier and give you ideas you can try yourself, share with a colleague, or bookmark for later in the school year. Every Tuesday here on the Easy EdTech Podcast, you'll hear stories from my time in the classroom, the work I do now with schools and districts, and my travels to different EdTech events. Get ready for solo episodes where I share some quick tips and stories, and interviews full of practical ideas and stories from new guests each month. If we mention something you'd like to check out, make sure to click the link. You'll find it in the episode description or the summary area where you're listening to this podcast, or you can find every episode and all of the resources we mention by going to classtechtips.com/podcast, or by going to classtechtips.com and just clicking on the Easy EdTech Podcast button at the top of the page. This episode is sponsored by my new ASCD deck of cards, Purposeful EdTech Tips. It's part of the QuickWins series and packed with 50 fast, effective ideas for planning, teaching, and reflection. You'll find AI prompts, student activities, teacher tips, and strategies for checking for understanding, all designed to help you use EdTech with purpose. Whether you're planning your next unit or looking for a quick idea before class starts, these cards are full of inspiration and super easy to use. Head to classtechtips.com/cards to grab your deck today. That's classtechtips.com/cards to check it out. This week's episode is titled EdTech Strategy Cards, the story behind this new resource. Now, if you're a regular listener of the podcast, you know how passionate I am about using EdTech with purpose. Whether you've joined me for a webinar or read my book, EdTech Essentials, you know I'm always on the lookout for ways to help educators bring intentionality into their use of technology. And that's why I'm very excited to share a brand new resource with you. This spring, I collaborated with the team at ASCD, now ASCD and ISTE. They're the joint publishers of the second edition of my book, EdTech Essentials, to create a brand new resource for educators. It was something that came up in conversation a while back and then came into fruition earlier this year. And this new resource is part of the ASCD product line they've just launched called QuickWins Strategy Cards. And my deck of cards inside of this new product line is called Purposeful EdTech Tips. It's one of 6 that they launched right at the ASCD annual ISTE Live conference at the end of June. And I'm just so excited that this is finally out there and available. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen some of my quick videos where I just show you some of the cards and talk a little bit about the resource. And it's created really, just in time for the summer and back to school season. And it's something that I really think will feel practical and ready to use. And it's just full of tips that can help you plan, teach, and reflect on using education technology. So in today's episode, I'm going to give you a bit more background, the story behind this new resource, so that you have a sense of some new things that are available from ASCD and ISTE, and why I think this deck and this just kind of concept of quick tips is something you might bring back to your colleagues or into your own professional practice. So each deck in this new series includes 50 fast and effective strategies. And I really do mean quick and effective. They're bite-sized, perfect for teachers, instructional coaches, and school leaders who, in the case of my deck, the Purposeful EdTech Tips, want to make meaningful use of classroom technology. They were released this summer so that they'd be ready for the back-to-school season. But they're not a back-to-school resource exactly, right? It's not just something for the first few weeks of school. They're really perfect to use any time of the school year. And the deck is divided, my deck at least, into 4 categories of quick strategies. It covers some popular topics from my workshops and presentations. And when I sat down virtually, and I guess face-to-face at one point, with some ASCD team members, we really looked at my book, EdTech Essentials, some of my observations from being out in the field to narrow things down into 4 categories. So in the decks, there are AI chatbot prompts, student activity ideas, teacher tips, and formative assessment techniques. So in the first category, we'll kind of dive into them together, is 15 AI chatbot prompts. And these are perfect if you're experimenting with tools like ChatGPT or another AI-powered platform, and they'll help you generate some lesson ideas, create supplemental resources, and even differentiate instruction with the help of artificial intelligence. So I picked out just over a dozen of my favorite AI chatbot prompts, and the way, even on this small deck, they're the size of a traditional deck of cards, we've included some examples on there too. So you'll see a prompt idea and an example. The next category is student activity ideas. And these ones are really student facing. So activities and tips for how to use digital tools to help students show what they know in creative ways. And this category was inspired by the Create chapter or the Create Essential in my book, EdTech Essentials. If you've explored the first or second edition, you'll see that Create Essential there. And it's full of ideas, everything from multimedia responses to, things that work really well across different subject areas. So you'll see just about a dozen student activity ideas in that portion or that fourth of the deck. Then there is the teacher tips section. This one has 11 cards designed to support lesson planning and instructional design. So whether you're building out a station rotation or curating resources for an upcoming unit, these ones are there to help you boost engagement and save some time. So this is great whether you're working with students all day, every day, or if you're coaching or mentoring your colleagues, this section's super helpful too. Now, the last set in this group of 50 are 13 formative assessment techniques. So you can use these to check for understanding during or after instruction, and they'll help you collect some actionable data to get a clear picture of what your students know, where they might need support. And as a workshop facilitator myself, formative assessment's always been a super popular topic. So I'm really excited to share some of these small but mighty tips that you can put into action right away. So those are the 4 big categories. Each card gives you a quick win that you can use as is, or of course, tweak to fit your specific classroom goals. And because they're designed to work with really any subject or grade level, they're super flexible for a wide range of educators. So that's a little bit about kind of the what of the new resource, what you'll find inside. Now, to get us over to the how, or how to use these cards during the summer, during the fall, during any part of the school year, well, these cards, this deck, it's more than just a set of ideas. They're really designed to spark conversations. They can help you guide professional learning and support lesson planning all year long. So you could use these a few different ways, just as kind of a a couple starters or idea starters for you. You could use them when you're leading or attending a learning experience, a professional development, right? These are great conversation starters. You could explore one category at a time, or even just invite teachers to pick a card from the deck and then discuss with a partner how they might try out that strategy in their classroom. You could also use this as a gift for teacher teams. So if you're looking for something for back to school, for the holidays, maybe end of term, a gift to give, these are a great way to show support for your team and really promoting purposeful tech use. You can even pair it with one of my quick reference guides if you want to, or tuck these cards into a welcome back folder. If that's something you want to do, you, of course, could purchase these from Amazon or straight from ASCD, but you could also just send me a message. I can usually help you get a bulk discount if you're buying a whole bunch of them. So just send me a note and can help you get a quote if you're buying a bunch all at once. And then, of course, you could do this. You could use these for some solo planning and reflection. If you're spending some time during, a certain season, or refreshing old units, or brainstorming new ideas, you could really just keep a deck, by your side on your desk and flip through it as you write out lesson plans, or even just set some goals for the year. Maybe you pull one card a week as a personal, professional challenge to try out something new. So those are just a couple ways that you might use it, kind of the how, if you will. When I think back to the why here, well, when the team at ASCD reached out to me about this new project idea, of course I was super honored to join in. I had not thought about this as a physical resource. I've created other physical resources, all the way back to my book, Tasks Before Apps, that ASCD published in 2017. I've done 3 quick reference guides, which I love, with 2 editions of my book, EdTech Essentials. And, there are thousands of copies of the books and quick reference guides that have been sold. So, just this idea of creating something totally new was something that I couldn't say no to, and if you followed along, for a while now, whether it's the blog, the podcast, maybe you've attended a webinar or we've met at an event, right? I love sharing ideas you can use right away, no matter what format I'm sharing them in. And so these new decks, I'm pumped to already hear, some of the reception. I've had someone email me just this morning saying they picked one up of these decks. And so I'm really excited to see what people think of them and how they would use them. So we talked a bit about the what and the how and the why. If you're looking where to find these strategy cards, as I mentioned, you can find them all on ASCD's website. I'll link out to them in the show notes. You can find them on Amazon. Remember, if you search for Monica Burns, there's more than one Monica Burns on Amazon. I'm sure the other lady is lovely, but she just writes books that are very different than what I do. But anyhow, you can find them on Amazon. The front of the deck, even though it's smaller than a book, looks just like the book cover for EdTech Essentials. So it should look pretty familiar. And if you follow my Amazon collections, I just added it to, my collection of publications on Amazon, so you can find it there. And of course, if you have any trouble, you can always send me a message on Instagram, or you can send me an email. Just reply to my weekly newsletter, and I'll make sure to get you all the details. So let's make this EdTech easy with a couple key points from today's episode. Pull a strategy card each week to try a new EdTech idea. Use AI prompt cards to plan lessons or differentiate quickly. Choose a student activity card to get an idea that can boost creativity. Try a formative assessment card to check for understanding in real time. Remember, you can find the show notes and full list of resources from this episode by heading to easyedtechpodcast.com. This episode is sponsored by my new ASCD deck of cards, Purposeful EdTech Tips. It's part of the QuickWins series and packed with 50 fast, effective ideas for planning, teaching, and reflection. You'll find AI prompts, student activities, teacher tips, and strategies for checking for understanding, all designed to help you use EdTech with purpose. Whether you're planning your next unit or looking for a quick idea before class starts, these cards are full of inspiration and super easy to use. Head to classtechtips.com/cards to grab your deck today. That's classtechtips.com/cards to check it out. Thank you for listening to this new episode of the Easy EdTech Podcast. I love creating new episodes for you each week, but I could use a bit of help spreading the word about the podcast. Can you leave a rating or review on your favorite podcast app? Spotify will let you tap on the stars, and Apple Podcasts will let you tap on the stars and leave a 1 or 2 sentence review. Thank you so much for taking this extra step. It helps other educators find episodes like this one when they're searching for EdTech tips.